here live. I also almost missed playing the intro video because I was too distracted by Enzo yawning in the camera. So this is off to a great start already.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. And no, it's not a Monday. Mel is actually here on a Thursday. So just want to welcome you all tonight. We are going to go through, talk about the Brighton game tomorrow, Friday night, under the lights against Brighton Munich. Let's hope it's not like a Bayern Munich game. Talking about Bayern Munich, we will talk about the delightful idea of Arsenal Football Club, Sky, and all these other TV people not being able to sort out a fucking fixture. There you go, you got your first F-bomb, and it's not even 7:45. Emmerdale's not even finished yet. So we will talk about that. I'm going to introduce you to my guests. So back again, Laura, how are you?
I'm all good, thank you very much. Thank you for having us back on again.
No problem. You can't be any worse than James. That's good.
I'm more understandable than James, so you'll be all right.
But I will say, having James on is really helping me to understand the Scottish accent. So he's helping me as well. So, Mel, thank you for coming on and being here again.
No worries. Thank you for once again having me back to cause more chaos.
How are you, though? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. Picked up a bit of an injury at football.
Another one?
Tuesday. Little hamstring injury, but big
Call
derby.
Laura Beanwriter. She
I
picked
know.
up another injury.
As long as it ain't
I will turn up for the big derby game on Sunday, and I will be playing. So
as long as it ain't a concussion, and don't put your hand up. Paul, how you doing, mate?
All good, buddy. Glad to be back.
Yeah. Also, while we have Paul here, I just want to say thank you to Paul because he's actually helped us to set up a Facebook page and Instagram for the shows. So that's a lot more technological than I am. So thank you for that.
Shout out to my daughter as well for the Instagram side because that was even more technical than I go down.
So yeah, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And then we've got our special guests. We've got Yaz. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Cool. And then we've got Arsenal celebrity, Enzo. Good to have you here. I was going to start getting worried if I said how are you and he answered me back. Then I thought I'll just
He might. You never know.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anyone else here, Mel?
Emma's here as well.
Oh, right. Emma, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Cool. Yeah, I'm good. Been on a mental health course all day at work, so I need to go from mental health course to therapy about Arsenal football clubs.
You need a bit of therapy by the sounds of it.
Yeah. So yeah. So we have we got any comments yet, Mel?
Darren has asked if James is lurking. James has confirmed that he is in fact lurking, and I'm surprised that he's paying attention to us and not his beloved team bottling it in another competition in Europe.
Well, he don't support Spurs, does he?
No, but his team's just as bad.
He supports the other shit team.
Glasgow Hotspur. So yeah, we're going to swap it around this time. So we're going to go straight into talk about the Bayern Munich game that was supposed to be at the Emirates about a week before Christmas. Laura, I'll start with you. It's a bit of obviously, for those who don't know, Arsenal Bayern Munich is now, it will not be played at the Emirates because the massive game of Arsenal versus Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup quarter-final is now going to be played at the Emirates. One, what's your thoughts on it? And two, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think it's a bit of a big fuck you to the women's fans.
A bit disappointing, really.
Yeah.
I think it was yourself, George, that put on Twitter "Family FC question mark."
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with it. Where is the Family FC in that? These fixtures have been the ones that have been set in place for a while. So they should have known that Arsenal men we're going to have other cups coming up, and it should have been something that should have been sorted. There should have been a backup plan put in place. Now, I hear there's possibility of going to Meadow Park. How are you going to put it in Meadow Park when you've already sold half of your tickets or half of your capacity in Meadow Park? Yeah, how that's going to work, I don't know, but it's very, very disappointing, and to me, it's a setback for the women again. And to me, it gives me the idea that the women have basically been told this season, if anything like this has to come up, then it's a case of them being put out in the men first, which I understand, it's a men's stadium, it is their ground, but it should have been well thought out before anything was even set in stone. And it just seems that it now questions, is this why the women have kind of down tools this season? Because it's been basically told, if the men's games come up first at the Emirates, yous are basically put out the picture. It just gives me a lot of questions about what's going on behind the scenes.
So yeah, I'm going to be dangerously playing devil's advocate here, because I could switch on what I'm going to say. So I blame Arsenal for a part of it, but then I do blame these fucking TV companies as well.
Yeah.
And I think this shows, Paul, I'll come to you, that how much power the TV channels have over football generally. Because don't tell me they couldn't have moved Brighton versus Crystal Palace, which is on the Monday, back to the Sunday, and then that would have enabled Arsenal to be able to play Bayern Munich on the Wednesday and either Tuesday or Thursday, the men. But because Sky won't move it, that's basically why. So I do think I think Arsenal were cutting a lot of the slack, and yeah, I agree they should, but I think TV channels like Sky have got a lot to answer for, haven't they, Paul?
Yeah, I think they've got too much power over the game in general, whether that doesn't matter what level it is. Obviously now even the championships and leagues 1 and 2 are getting a lot of airtime on Sky, and the fixtures are being moved about right the way down the leagues. So yeah, it's across the board. It's not just the top clubs like Arsenal and that. But yeah, they've just got way too much influence, and the fixtures should come first, not the
it's
TV.
not like you look at that Chelsea Man United game that was sold out. That was down. Like, no, the one that got called off because of the scheduling with the Champions League. Because do these people not talk to each other?
Exactly, and with the women's game progressing how it is, more and more clubs are moving to the main stadium. Like we saw Aston Villa have moved there this year. We know Leicester play there as well. There's more and more teams that are moving to the main stadium. So you're going to start getting these conflicts whereas in the past, it didn't matter. Arsenal men could play any day of the week, didn't matter. But now they've got to try and fit in 2 teams playing on one ground. And I think when the contracts come up for renewal with the TV companies, something needs to be put in place to allow both teams to play at reasonable times. And there shouldn't be a precedence that the men take priority over the women, or the women take priority over the men. It should be the first fixture that is put in place gets the priority. So we know the men's league games, Premier League games, come out before the WSL. So they'll work out their first so many fixtures for TV. But when the women's Champions League games are put in place, like this one against Bayern Munich, if a men's Carabao Cup game comes up, well, it can't be played on that Wednesday because the women are already played there. Or considering how many they don't usually sell out the men's Carabao games, they could even move that to Meadow Park.
Yeah, that is actually a good point, because I was having this argument with someone on Twitter. Not that I do that often, only every day. So they're saying, "Oh, but 50,000 tickets will get sold for that Carabao Cup game." What fucking planet are you on, mate? Like, when does, apart unless you're playing Chelsea, Man City, any of them? So for Arsenal Crystal Palace quarter final, you think you're selling over 50,000? No, like, there's more chance Arsenal bringing Edu back. Like, is this not? I just don't get it, and I think it's right what you're saying, Paul, because like the companies, they do have too much, and it ain't just an Arsenal thing. Like before, if people think that's what we're saying, like I said, Chelsea, Man United, no way should that have been called off, because they should have all been talking. And I'd say what's pissed me off more, I'll come to you, Yaz, is that people have booked flights, accommodation, travel, and all this, and we still don't even know where the game's going to be.
I think it's absolutely appalling, to be fair.
Yeah, like they should be having, like, if you're coming out with an announcement like that, fine, but at least announce somewhere where it's going to be, because there's people that don't know what they're doing. Like, well, literally, but
I know there's a few Scottish ones that's already obviously booked hotels and flights, and
even Bayern Munich,
are they going to be paid back for their travel? Are they going to be paid back for their hotel? Are they, like, what's going to happen? They're not going to get the money back. So
even the Munich fans, like, that ain't just an Arsenal thing.
Yeah.
Like, apparently they only got told the other day. So I just don't like, because realistically, I can't think of anywhere we could play it apart from Wembley.
Yeah, that's the only place we could really play it. That's big enough.
Yeah. A part of me, and I'll come to you as well, Mel. A real big part of me was like my immature part was hoping that Arsenal had sold like 50,000 tickets for the game, and then they've done this, because it might make more of a statement, because at me, we don't know how many tickets have been sold, do we?
Yeah, I think unfortunately at the end of the day you can see that it's come as more of a business decision than a decision with anybody else in mind. I think, as we've seen from previous Arsenal women's games, Champions League games at the Emirates in midweek, we've never really opened up more than that one stand that you can see on TV. So realistically, I think the club are looking at it from a money standpoint. They're going to get money from Sky or whoever the fuck it is that's showing the Carabao Cup game, as well as then the surplus of tickets that they're going to sell for that men's game, compared to however many was at the last women's Champions League game there. I can't remember what the numbers were, but it wasn't anywhere near a sellout. Obviously, them being streamed for free online, it's then not as big of a pool for the companies to come in, and we're not going to get a lot of money off that. So, unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's been a business decision by the higher ups that have then sort of kicked the middleman in the teeth. Like James has said, the kick in the teeth for the fan is that the small print is always subject to change, and I think it's right. Like you said, I think if they were going to come out with the announcement, it's not like it was a shock to them. As soon as they found out that the men's game was getting played on the Wednesday, they should have instantly been looking at where we can play it, how many tickets have we sold realistically, what can we do to get this game played on the original date, at the original time, looking at other stadiums and stuff that we could play it at, to then give everybody that information that's required, rather than people now being stuck in limbo where they've spent probably upwards of hundreds of pounds on travel and hotels and people buying tickets and that as well, to now not know if they can make it. If they can't make it, they're probably not going to get their money back, especially for flights and hotels. I couldn't tell you anybody that I know that books a hotel that gets the refundable option. The same with flights. And EasyJet, once they've got your money, you're not getting it back unless somebody died, and you can give them a death certificate to prove that somebody has died. So it's a tough one, not only for like the Arsenal fans, but like you said, for the Munich fans as well. It's not exactly easy to book time off work, book travel, international flights and stuff. But again, that's not something that people at the club think about when they see money to be made. Yeah,
I will say something that obviously this is under the impression I have. I think it's very highly unlikely that they move the game. I don't think they can, like on a date, because I think that all the Champions League fixtures have got to be played at the same time.
Yeah, so, I think it's Wednesday night or a Thursday night, I think, usually, because I can usually watch the Celtic game or the Arsenal game. I can never watch both. They're usually on different nights.
Yeah, I think because the Juve game's meant to be on the Wednesday as well.
Yeah,
They're saying that. Well, I was reading somewhere that it has to be played on the Wednesday.
yeah, it's to sort of rule out match fixing in a way. I think because if say if we were playing Bayern and we both only needed a draw, if say Juve won, so say Juve played on the Wednesday and they won, realistically Bayern and Arsenal could go out on the Thursday night and just play for a 0-0 draw. So I think that's the main reason that they want them both played on the same night. But all round, it's just a stupid decision that I really can't wrap my head around.
So obviously that does mean potentially that obviously the guys that have booked their stuff, obviously you will still be able to watch Arsenal, just not the Emirates, which is the shit. Emma, I'll come to you because obviously I know you like the men's game as well. Like myself and a couple others. What's your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, it takes the piss because I wanted tickets to both, and I got tickets to the Champions League game because who's going to miss up the opportunity to see Georgia Stanway up close and personal? Right. And I wanted to go to the Crystal Palace game as well because it'll be Eddie's first match back.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
why
kind of like
that's why I weren't going.
What do you think he's going to score against us?
No, yeah, he probably will. Everyone scores against us, mate. It's actually a good point I didn't actually think of. So there are a few fans that go to the men and the women's. Now, if that's the case, they can't because unless they're Doctor Who, they can't go to both. So, yeah, it's a good point. I didn't cross my mind that either. To be fair, I entered the ballot as well. So there's probably one I'd win as well. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I just think I just wonder. I would like to know actually how much say Arsenal had in it. Personally, I'm not sure because I wasn't part of the club. But going back to you, Laura, like it just seems like we were saying to Paul that Sky, what people say to Sky will say jump, and everyone's like, oh, how high? Like they won't, because there's so much they could have done. Like they could have moved the game backwards. They could have moved Arsenal Palace to the Sunday. So that, but it's just like whatever Sky say they want, they get.
As Darren has put in there, it's a cash king. That's the only thing that the Arsenal have seen as pound signs and thought, right, okay, we'll take it, and not gave the women two thoughts. And again, it's where I question why is a woman had to be put in a back burner just because cash has come in. They've seen pound signs. It's annoying. It's to me it's a step back and it's not a step forward. And the club really need to, the club in itself, to protect the women, have to turn around and say, do you know what? No, we've got a women's team sitting there that can bring you money in as well. When it comes to them being on Sky, there's somewhere that eventually somebody would have made that money up. It's Arsenal, for God's sake. It's not like Arsenal really need the money, is it? Like,
no,
they're a big club. They've got the money in the bank. It's not, what is it for one game, especially towards Crystal Palace? I know Yaz will maybe disagree because Yaz is a bit on the both sides there with Arsenal and Crystal Palace, especially with her granddad being a Crystal Palace supporter. But it's disappointing. I'm really disappointed. But I took myself off every chat yesterday. I took myself off Twitter because, as you know, sometimes it can get a bit blown up and people's opinions can get lost. And it causes a big stir. And I seen it had caused a big stir on Twitter yesterday. And I thought, stay away from it because you upset somebody somewhere with your own opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, disappointing and not very happy about the move. Considering I won't be at the Emirates, as I say, it's a midweek game. We unfortunately haven't paid out the money for the travel, but it's the ones that has paid out the money for the travel, hotels and stuff that I feel bad for.
Yeah, it is one of those things, Yaz, that obviously it does look like a cash rim, but if Sky are saying I wonder how much money Arsenal Football Club would miss out on if they said to Sky, "Oh, well, we're having our women's game here. We're not. If you can't change it, then we like." There's a lot of stuff, like murky stuff to it. No.
Yeah, I think it's definitely for that. Like, it's going to be a cash loss, but it's also not going to be because they'll do what they want to do. They don't really care about the fans. I feel.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, I think we've all been like a lot of us have been saying for ages they don't like the not like the fans. They don't care about them. Like, don't tell me they care about fans in the men's game when they say, "Oh, yeah, Arsenal will play Newcastle away at 12:30 or 8:00 at night," and then don't tell me they care about the women fans when they. I'll try and not use Arsenal as an example. Like when they have Everton playing at home against Chelsea at like 6:45 on a Sunday. Like you're telling me that, or Arsenal Man United at Lee at 12:30. So like, there's so many examples why they just don't give a fuck about the fans, and it is all about the money, really. And sadly, I think, Paul, that the women's game's going to go that same direction because we're seeing it already, aren't we?
Yeah, sadly, it is. We've seen the new deal come out for next season on it. So there's going to be more and more games moved for television. And the other thing that with this Bayern Munich game that hasn't really been mentioned much is we play 6 games in the group, 3 at home and 3 away. So theoretically, we should have home advantage to those 3 games. If it's moved to somewhere completely different, it's not the Emirates or Meadow Park, we lose the home advantage. In effect, you're in effect going to a neutral venue.
Well, because realistically, when Mel, will come to you, we're kind of limited where we go anyway, aren't we? Because I saw some, I'll call them their rightful name, some twat on Twitter say, "Oh, why don't you play at the Tottenham Stadium?" If I could have reached down the phone, I probably would have hit him myself. Like, but on a serious note, where else can we play? Like, apart from the London Stadium or Wembley, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, like the options are really, really limited. And like we were saying, it's not like they can change the date that we're going to play it on. So honestly, fuck knows what they're going to do. I think if they play it at Meadow Park, it's going to be daft. Like Bayern's a big name club. It's a club that we could get a good amount of supporters in to watch, both home and away. So I think putting it to Meadow Park could be doing it an injustice. But I think that's probably going to be our only option. Also, I just want to point out George Bez is now also here.
Cool. I'll come to you, Bez, after.
And the other thing is that I've seen, going back to what Laura was saying about people on Twitter, some of the tweets I saw yesterday were boiling my noggin. Like, I actually wanted to smash my head against the wall. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a big thing. People are upset about it. But to take the Arsenal women's game being moved from the Emirates and to compare it to what's just happened in the US presidential election, anybody who's made that comparison, you need to give your head a wobble. You need to go outside. You need to smell some fresh air, touch some grass, go and speak to people that isn't through a phone screen, because that's a wild comparison to make. What's going on in America right now and what's going to be going on in America coming forward with this presidential election that they've just had, to compare that to the women not playing at the Emirates is wild. And if you've made that comparison and hit send and thought, that's a great tweet.
It's nearly as bad. The only comparison I'd have is that they don't sell chips in lower tier. Putting that up there. Hey, Bez, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
What do you want me to say? I mean, I love hearing you guys, and thanks for having me on in such short notice, I'll say, because I've taken a lot of fire myself the last couple of weeks being an Arsenal fan. The ladies and the men's.
Yeah, tell me
Seen
about
2
it.
ladies games this season, 1 men's. Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Before you ask me a question, please, and I was there for the Shaka game. Again, I put that class is permanent in my tagline to represent to our certain fan point of view, because I saw, as well as Mel said, I'm trying to get to know everyone now. I unfortunately see some in our club lately, like I was there for Shaka one. It seems very subdued atmosphere for a Tuesday night. Our vocal fans will not let it be seen. They're too busy, taunting the away fans. I, for one, don't stand for that. You really don't need to taunt them. Let the football do the talking. I've just seen other stuff, as you guys said, because I was do some research. The Emirates game last Tuesday when we played, the last home game, Champions League in Shakhtar, at Shakhtar at home, it was not a full house. I'm sorry if I attacked them, but I have to say, Ashburton Army that Tuesday were not themselves. All they did is bang the drums, nothing there. The away fans were loud. Again, our fans personally, I'm not here to attack them, George and Mel. I'm sorry to say like this, but our fans were not on point that night. It showed me that clearly the ladies' football has increased to another level. Clearly, our fan base, sadly, and other fans included, don't see this. It's like ladies' football from us is like we've been, as me a fan as well, because I'm passionate for the ladies as well. We put to sand, like non-existent,
Yeah.
For me personally, it hurts more because I feel the girls are trying their best to get through the hardship of having that certain pantomime villain, as I heard me say, George.
Yeah.
That guy, I won't say his name anymore, but that pantomime villain, who's running the show, the spotlight was all on him.
Yeah.
I, for one, will say to you, when seeing ladies back to back, I simply saw there's more passion from fans and the players more than there is for the men's. For the men's, they start singing. I know the Tuesday night, I get it, it's UCL. People need to realize we're back in the big time. Yet why not singing? You have the voice. If I won't swear yet before the watershed, but I just feel that for God's sake, sing. You're there to enjoy yourself. You're there, an awesome fan. This is our home turf. Sing your heart out for the lads, basically. The girls, when I was there for the Chelsea one, I was there for the Everton one this season as well. Everton was a bit subdued because it was a very cold, nippy Sunday, windy, raining, so on. Chelsea was very loud, were very vocal. Without me keeping on too long this segment of mine, I felt the Chelsea one, the girls gave it all, the fans gave it all. Apart from the pantomime villain again, I'll say Jonas as he is. He let us down big time, but from us he as well. And what I heard you guys say at the beginning, I for one don't understand how the clubs / now the TV companies can do whatever they want, which is not nice. Because the schedule was perfect. It was organized well, then they mess it up. They mess it up again. Now I'm hearing the ladies are being pushed aside. Now they want to prioritize the League Cup reschedule, which people now are planning to go around the continent, because people we know they go into Juventus. Plans have been changing. I want to go to the Crystal Palace game as well because I live in London, close to Crystal Palace. Not that it's my favorite second London team anymore. It used to be for a while. But it'd be nice to see London Derby for a change again. I saw one last season. Sorry if I carry this on too much. I personally want to say is, please, TV companies. Yes, you want to prioritize your revenue. Yes, you want to make yourself big. But there's a lot of stake now here. There's, the cold nights are coming. There's people with families. If I'm saying correct, like Laura just said, she's coming from far, far away. Technically, it's far away. Sorry, Laura, if I say it in a bad way. But literally far, far away. Like galaxy far away, I should say. Because it feels like where you're from. I can tell by the accent. I didn't say where from, I can tell. The no fantasy you can see is a hard thing to do. For me, it's perfectly yes. But is it a Tuesday? Is it a Thursday? Because I really want to get the ticket. But if they're going to mess me up, that will affect my scheduling, my time. Say I want to meet you guys as well. It'd be nice to be more like-minded people when we have this family of ours, both the men's and the ladies. But there's TV companies who want to technically rain our parade and make themselves look like, they were bigger dog, we have the power on you. No, they don't. This was the FA needs to step in, not UEFA anymore, because I'm a bit fed up with UEFA as of late. I probably said something a few weeks ago, someone told me that was not very nice. But I say, I'll speak that in my sleeve. And I'll say this right now, without me keeping this too long, this segment. FA needs to take a big look at themselves and say, please, TV companies, don't ruin the scheduling by doing it that you affect families, you affect true fans like us who clearly go in when we can, day in, day out, more like 5, 6 times, 10 times even, or more like the whole season, some people do, home and away, scheduling, be transparent, be clear, but don't mess up people's plans now, no, because it's not fair. Like me, I really thought it was going to be a Tuesday. From what I hear you guys now, it's going to be a Wednesday. I just read now it might be on a Thursday, maybe on a Friday. I'm thinking, for the love of God, please, TV companies or Amazon, don't get me started with Amazon. Just without, yeah. I was there for the Brighton home game when they first played them. I think 2020. I think we played them and they beat us. I literally enjoy how they went from 8:00 kickoff, 8:45. I'm like, are you for real? So that 45 minutes for someone who lives far away outside London will not affect me, but affect you guys who live far away from London. I mean, no remorse, very, very sad. But I'll keep that to one side for a minute, as we say.
Yeah. Cheers.
Sorry for the long rant to begin
No,
with.
that's fine. That was quite short for you, mate. So that's fine.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Maybe the true juice. Look, true juice matching my top, I guess, tonight. So, yeah.
There were some really, really good points there. Like,
sorry if I waffled, by the way. Sorry if I waffled.
No, you're good. There were some really good points there, especially about the atmosphere. I've noticed that myself going to the men and the women's. I think there's some Arsenal fans that have just got very, very entitled as well, and they just it's a really bugbear of mine that you go to a game and you don't sing. Like Laura knows, I've even been told to sit down. So most recently, so yeah, and it is the point. Like, these TV companies need to take some responsibility. If you're going to have all this power, then you've got to try and put the fans first. I understand that they're, at the end of the day, they're businesses, but the Arsenal Bayern Munich game, like, no fucker knows when it is or where it is. So, and let's be honest, like Mel, you said, the airlines ain't going to say, "Oh, sorry, we'll give you your money back." Well, it's nothing to do with them, is it? That's not their fault.
Exactly. And if you want to change your flight as well, they'll probably charge you more to change your flight than you paid for your flights to start with.
Yeah. So it's just a mess, like, generally. Have we got any comments, Mel?
We have a couple. Let me just find them. Let's scroll up. Most people agree with what we're saying. Like, obviously, with the TV companies, cash is king.
Yeah.
Clubs have no choice but to take a jump, and we'll say how high. James is pretty sure he saw a stat somewhere a few years back that if TV was to pull out of the English football, many clubs would collapse, which I do believe. Doesn't surprise me. And Darren's also said that he's never met you, Bez, but anyone that speaks so passionately about singing and atmosphere at games is a friend of his. So there you go. You've been on here 5 minutes and you've gained a fan already.
It's Darren. He's the mascot. He likes to rant as well. So it's fine. So yeah, we'll go on. I think we've kind of covered that as much as we can. Obviously, we all we can really do now is just wait until officially we find out where the game's going to be, and hopefully it's going to be at a ground that is still accessible for people. As long as it ain't the Brentford Stadium, because that sounds like a ball ache. To be fair, so fingers crossed that people that have booked all their stuff won't miss out as much as they could, if that makes sense. So we'll go. Obviously, we're playing. Okay, who are we playing tomorrow?
Brighton.
Yeah, that's it. So we've got we're playing Brighton tomorrow, Yaz. What's your thoughts on the game? I think a lot of people think it's gonna not actually be as hard as people think, but I think that's a bit dodgy. Brighton's been playing well, haven't they?
To be fair, I think Brighton are going to absolutely smash us because the girls at the moment just don't seem like they care. It's like, oh yeah, okay, we've got to go play football again. Well,
yeah. I think the performances have got. I suppose it's a low bar, isn't it, Paul? I think the performances have got a bit better since the Swedish fraud has gone. So that's not Rene, by the way. Just saying. Yeah, I think they've got a bit better, haven't they? But like you said, like I just said, it's a low bar, isn't it?
Yeah, when you're starting that low, almost anything is better. Watching the game on Sunday, I felt we got the ball forward a lot quicker. I felt we got the ball into Russo a lot quicker. She seemed to be finding more spaces. She wasn't obviously not getting the goals that she was trying for, missing a few shots, and the goalkeeper was made a couple of good saves. But going forward, we seem to be getting a bit better. There's still leaks at the back. There's still silly defensive errors creeping into our game, and when you've got the same players that were there last season that were quite solid, what's gone wrong this year is the question to ask. So I think we're halfway there. We've taken steps forward, but I still think there's quite a bit of work to still be done in the team. And obviously, Rennie's been given another 5 games to take them forward a bit, and we'll just have to see what she does in those 5 games.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think she's been given those 5 games because obviously the American season finishes, doesn't it, around that time? But according to Jack in the group, is it Cushing? That don't look like that's going to happen. So might be Carla Ward. Yeah. Emma, I'll come to you. Obviously, would you play the same team that played on Sunday just to give them some familiarity, or would you make a couple of changes, and if so, who?
I'd probably make one change, and that's bench Little. She really needs to relax and stop trying so hard. Otherwise, she's going to get injured more than she wants to. But I probably wouldn't start Russo.
Okay.
And I don't know. It just, she was desperate to get on the score sheet because of the reaction that she got.
Yeah.
That's what I could see because I was watching it on my mobile because of a family thing. So it wasn't the best picture that I could see.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think with Russo, like I to be honest, I thought that was her best game I've seen her play for a while. Bez, I'll come to you. I think the problem is we see when they play with some pace and give the ball to Russo, we see the betterness of Russo. But when they play slow and don't play to their potential, that's when the players are not doing as well. Obviously, feel sorry for us at the minute, mate, because we're seeing this fucking double vision with the men and the women at the minute.
Can I please just say, and I've said it in a previous podcast with Ryan in Mr. Awesome Podcast, because he's a big ladies football fan of us as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's the past the watershed, right? Surely now.
Yeah, mate, I started swearing at 7:30, so you're fine.
My family's just in the other room, but I'm going to try and be as civilized as possible. Please, guys, nothing against the ladies, but I'll say this, and it's down to management, not to Renee, but I'll say to the management of who runs this Arsenal, I guess, DNA, shall we say, right now.
Yeah.
I said, and I'll start, it's only compare and contrast. It's not like I'm attacking the girls in any shape or form. I'll say this. See Saka, he's a superstar at Arsenal. He led his bit well. The superstar for the ladies, you have Alessia Russo, same as Saka. If you don't give superstar something, a spotlight on them, he or she, does not matter. In this day and age, it's all equal now, 50-50. But the superstar needs service. If you give her, in this case, Alessia Russo, nothing, she'll give you nothing. I've met her. Sorry to brag about this. I've met her. She's a wonderful human fucking person in life. I waited for a 6,000 queue. I was like, what an amazing being to meet in real life. I'm sorry, but I met her. I really felt like, oh my God, she's so great in real life. I wish I'd spoken to her more. Even though I got nudged, I got the photograph. The security was like, hurry up. There's people waiting in queue more. I'm thinking, idiot, I've been waiting 6 hours more than these guys. No offense to anyone, but please, I need to have my moment because I wait for this and I built my time to meet her. I'm a fan of hers as a person, not just as a footballer. Same Osaka. My feedback to that, George, to your question, my feedback, my answer basically, long story short, is the superstar now needs service. Because you see your Sunday, I watched the game, but I was doing something Sunday, and thankfully I could watch the game on TV for a change, and thankfully it wasn't TV, from the obvious group, as you know, because we have a lot of enemies down that route of, anti-Arsenal brigade in the beep, shall I say, if you say in British English.
Yeah.
But long story short, I felt like she looked good because the team dynamic saw her, she's sharp, will give her service, Same with the Arsenal last night. I mean, sorry, we're talking about the ladies, man. I don't want to jump to men's just yet. But with the ladies I saw, we looked good. It looked like the steam train had more steam, had all the coal, had all the fire you need, and the train was actually moving. It wasn't a bus, George. It wasn't the old route master that goes across City of London down there somewhere where I live. Like, past St. Paul's, near, Charing Cross, Islington somewhere, and then down to Emirates, and, that's our stadium. Fair enough. But one thing I noticed as well is, again, forgive me if I drag on the question, but I just felt like they look good. But again, I'll go back, if I'm saying correctly, Emma said about Kim Little. And I do like Kim Little. I was a big fan of BT before she kind of sadly left us. I saw Kim Little try so much. Again, she's leading that line. Yes, you're the captain. The team's going to follow you. Why is she doing needless tackles? She's trying so hard to make an impression on someone. If you don't need to, love. You're a legend. You do your thing, which means lead the team. By example, lead the team as you want it to be your basic brigade, like your true play, if I'll say more like. You see that with Arsenal. Yes, we're not, sorry, the men, for example, again, sorry, Joe, if I'm juggling too much tonight, because I feel like, and I want to get something with my chest, because I've been through a bit of a hard week myself last week, because I lost someone as well, so it's been a bit up and down,
No, you're good.
Forgive me if I lose a bit of voice in between. I'm still coming to terms with that.
Yeah.
I personally think on Sunday we saw the drive and desire for the ladies somehow again. You could see that shadow of that, so say, the pre-pantomime existence of the pantomime villain. Again, you know who I'm talking about. But it just felt like the girls feel like more in tune together. They complement each other, and now you can see like the players now playing their favorite positions, which clearly want to see that for ladies football, because the girls feel more natural when they play in their best position. As same works for the men. I'll give you a whole example, but that's be another topic for another day. But I just felt that we look sharper. Yes, it's Man United, slightly on paper. I guess in some respect to United, we're better than them. United show a bit more of the glimpses. For example, as well, I'll say one thing. Again, I'm not attacking anyone, but Daphne is more reassured as a goalkeeper for me. I have nothing against Berger. I have nothing against her. But she does not reach. I'm sorry. She does not do David Ryan. She just reaches. Daphne has more of a, it's more like, give me what you got. I'll do my bit, which is goalkeeper. Try and keep the ball in the net. Again, I'm not criticizing Zinsberger. All I want to say is, just try and make an effort. Try and do your thing. But please, control your emotion. I've seen as well, was it the Everton game? Everton could have embarrassed us, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend, sorry. Embarrassed. I was there. I was just sitting there with the group, Lottie and them lot, and, Lucy and so on, because we was at a big turnout that day. Literally sitting there thinking, why is this girl making so off for herself? And against Chelsea, sadly we lost. Daphne looked more sharper. She looked more up for it. The team looked a bit more lively, shall I say, despite, the certain, being a bit of a arsehole, as I want to call him a few colourful names. But, in all respect, I'm sorry if I keep this on too much. I just feel like the girls on Sunday look more, I don't know, more in tune, shall we say, more together for once. And I was like, can we please see this a bit more often now? Because we have the belief, we have the club, so we have the players, we have a decent coach at the minute who will drive them on. Please, go on, do your thing. Like, what's stopping you? You have the fans behind you. Please do your magic.
Yeah. Mel, I'll come to you, obviously, about Kimmy. I think we've kind of been advocates on here for a while, haven't we, that she kind of needs to start being rotated. And do you think tomorrow could be a chance or an opportunity that you could see Leah and Kyra play?
Yeah, I think we've said it a few times, even towards the end of last season, I was saying it, and Anyone who knows me knows that I love Kim Little with every fibre of my being. That is my local legend. 45 minutes up the road, she can do no wrong in my eyes. She'll always be a legend of the game. But I think in recent performances, even like I said towards the end of last season, we saw a lot of defensive-minded Kim, where it was a case of her. You could see her mindset was there's nothing in front of me. Let's recycle and start again. And it was a constant case of instead of playing it simple, playing the ball the way you're facing, just twisting and turning and twisting and turning and doing everything she can to play the ball back. I've said to Laura on that in the pub before, she spends around more time with the ball at her feet than she does when my washing machine's on a cold cycle. She just keeps going. I get dizzy watching her sometimes, and we need somebody who's going to play that progressive, attack-minded football. I think we've said before on here as well, playing two in CDM as a pivot might not be the way for us to go going forward. I think we're still trying to warm Kyra into being in the starting lineup, and obviously not having Palova this season is a massive miss. Because when Palova was in the squad, you could see when she would switch from like her defensive mindset to an attacking mindset, and I think that's a key thing that we're missing in the midfield. I think for me,
She's back on grass now, isn't she?
Lovely stuff.
Palova, I'm sure I've read
Yeah,
something.
she's talking grass with
Yeah, like
dementia.
not that she's coming back tomorrow, but it's.
Mm.
I think she's like about a month between month to 6 weeks ahead of recovery. So that's obviously a good sign.
But the thing I have is, I've said it before, how if Kim Little was to retire at the end of this season, none of our players are ready to go. We spoke about this with the goalkeeper. None of our players are ready to go for next season. Why? Because we haven't played them enough in the first team.
Yeah.
To have them ready for next season, or to have them ready when they needed it. What if it was to get to the point tomorrow, Kim was to get injured again? You're really not ready for this kind of game. Yeah, because why? Because you've had the setback of Kim and Wally are back, so let's be safe. And I keep saying it, we're far too safe. We play it far too safe. Never mind Arsenal FC, call us safe Arsenal, because that's what we are.
I've been saying that for ages.
We don't want to try something new. We don't want to try switching players up. We don't seem to want to try anything. We want to stick to the game plan, and teams already know what that game plan is. So
I think for me, if it was up to me tomorrow, I'd be playing one CDM, be it Kim or be it Wally, and then you've got that option to rotate if you need it later on in the game. But I'd be putting Rosa and Frida in front of that one CDM. I think we need to be a little bit more attacking. I think having one CDM and two centre mids then gives your wingers a little bit more support. I think we've seen in games recently that the wingers have been quite isolated. There's only so much your fullbacks can do. Like, don't get me wrong, Emily Fox would run a million miles in a game if she could, but there's a lot of work to put on somebody in 90 minutes. And like I say, like, the girl doesn't stop. She's up and down that wing constantly, but it gets really easy to read as a defender. You know that that's where it's coming from. You know that they're going to pump it up the wings. They've got fast wingers. They've got fast wing backs. Like, that's where it's going to come from. And our issue at the minute is we're playing crosses in the middle and we're doing nothing with them. So switch it up. Play your one CDM, play your two centre mids, and have that two options in the middle. Somebody doesn't always have to, they don't always have to go together. Have one that can go, one that can drop deeper. Like, we've seen Rosa with the ball at her feet. That girl can take anyone on. You can tell that she idolised Ronaldinho growing up, because watching her play football with the ball at her feet, she knows what she's going to do and she wants to do it and she does it, and nobody can cope with her. And I think the way that she plays and the way that Mariona plays, if you give them the ability and the time to work together on a pitch, that could be a really, really good duo. And I think that's one of the main things that we're missing at the minute, is that little bit of creative flair where teams can't read us as easily as they can at the minute, because we are very, very predictable just now.
Yeah. I think if you see us playing without that double pivot, then at least you can say, like you said, Laura, it's not being safe, it's actually having a risk. Because, like you say, these players ain't going to be up to rate with what they need to be, how they need to be playing, if they're not even getting a few minutes. So, like you look at Katrina McCall, like she's say that she has to play, she'll probably get absolutely murdered in a game because she hasn't played. So, yeah.
And this is where a lot of this is where it opens a lot of doors for people that are so so opinionated on like Twitter to then attack someone like Mullacool if she was brought on in a game, which I don't agree with because, like I said, she's not getting the minutes in. How do you expect her to step into a game? It's not fair the way some people attack our players when it's a bad game or when they've not really stepped up to the plate. Unfortunately, social media is a really bad place to go these days when someone's not up to standard or playing at their usual standard. It's a shame, really.
Yeah, cool. Before we wrap up, I'm going to go around and get your predictions and your first goal scorer. Not that we're blessed with goals, but Bez, I'll start with you. What's your prediction and who's your...
No pressure, mate. First time in your show,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
do this to me. Wow. Hello.
No pressure, mate.
Well, I'm fighting a 3-1, 2-0, so I think 2-0, there has to be Leslie Roos for me to score first because she looks confident and ready for a fight.
Yeah, good
A
one.
good fight, not a bad fight.
Yeah, exactly. That's McCabe's job.
No, handbag. Sorry, I should have said no handbag. Sorry, please.
Yeah. I'll go with Paul.
I'm going to go with but I think it's going to be Frida to get the first one. But I'd love it to be Katrina Kuhl getting a goal. I just can't see her in the starting lineup, unfortunately. I don't know if anyone caught the Denmark game where she came off the bench, scored a great goal, and the smile on her face, you could just see she needed it. And I'd love her to come into that squad this tomorrow night and get a goal, but unfortunately just can't see it.
Yeah. Emma?
I always seem to get it wrong.
I ain't got one right season, so.
I'm gonna go Ford, and I'm gonna say the 8th minute.
Yeah. What do you reckon the
And
score?
2-0.
2-0, yeah. Yeah, Ballon Ford. I'm having some of that. Yaz and Enzo, what about you two? Enzo will probably score more than the whole team.
Of course he will. He's currently sleeping.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about Arsenal women.
I'm going to say probably Russo to score first and 3-1.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we don't keep clean sheets at Arsenal anymore. Mel, what about you?
I'm going to say because realistically it's a must-win game to keep us within touching distance of Champions League next season, because if we lose, Brighton will be 7 points ahead of us. We're going to go 2-1 because it's Arsenal and we never do anything easy. And I'm going to go for a good old Katie McCabe screamer to kick it all off.
No, they don't. They don't.
I hope you're right.
She only scores them on international break. That's all she does.
Oh,
Arsenal needs to play in green. Laura, what about you?
I'm gonna go 3-1, and I'll go, as James says, the pigeons for the hat trick. I'm gonna go if she starts. Maybe she will start Mariona Caldente for the first goal.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to go for.
Somebody said, I bet George says an OG.
I just saw that as well. Does that help, George? Does that help you, I guess?
For Nikita Paris own goal or something.
Oh, God, yeah.
She doesn't play for Arsenal anymore. That's running about the pitch, right?
It's just really hard for me because I don't fancy our chances tomorrow at all. I'm going to go And I actually need to start getting points in this prediction ring because I've been absolute shit this season.
Yeah, Chris Sutton stuff. Chris Sutton, mate.
Yeah, I'm better than that. Yeah. So I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal. Fuck it. 1-0 Arsenal, own goal to win it.
Oh, Darren was right then. Dad was right.
Mel, do I
Fucking
get double points if that happens?
I would love to say yes if I don't have need enough every single page in my book that you predicted an own goal.
Yeah, it's got. I said Emily Fox and Russo a couple of times, and they come.
Yeah, I currently have 3 own goals written down
Mhm.
just from George, so I feel that you shouldn't get double points for that.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Can I just quickly interrupt? That shirt
Yeah.
behind Mel's left shoulder, that shirt, somewhere, Julie Fleeting, I think. I do remember her slightly growing up. Where
Yeah,
is she now? We could do with some other vibe in the club.
I know. She's too busy doing punditry for the good old Scottish women's football now.
Well, I need to do more research then for my insights in the future, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm a Highlander by nature, so I love my fellow Highlanders by many I don't know, adversaries around, I guess.
There's not much going on up here in the Highlands, to be fair.
Yeah, what about
Hey, I'm a Celtic fan as
City
well.
goes?
I'm a Celtic fan as well. Sorry if I offended
Yes,
anyone. I'm a
come
Celtic
on.
fan.
He's reading.
I'm
He's
Catholic
reading
as
the
well,
room
yeah, I'm
very,
Catholic,
very
I've
well
done
right now.
I've done my homework. I've done my homework. Can I just say,
Yeah.
seeing Celtic win against Leipzig and coming off to work, Arsenal lost, fine, it happens. But seeing Celtic 3-1, could have been 4-1. I thought, that one I was very good, very good. Keep it there, my boys.
That's what happens when you support a big Glasgow team, not like James. So
I
yeah,
need to beat James, but hey.
yeah.
If
So,
it's the
yeah,
same, I
thank-
think it was fair.
Thank you.
Not
I'm
happy,
gonna say
Chappy.
thank you to.
You keep talking about his team. Keep talking about his team.
Hey, look, at least Bayrami, who's Albanian, plays for Rangers, so I'm happy with that. If Bayrami plays
I
for
feel that
Rangers,
you
I'm
should
happy.
be getting deducted Hun points for sitting there watching Rangers in a green hoodie, no?
And a green hoodie works for Glasgow City Council. It needs to be a green.
Green and white. Sure, green and white will be fine, no?
So, yeah,
James says we're not for big fit
go
players like
and watch Channel 4, James.
Hey, be
No.
humble, yeah, as you said to Holland. Be humble, guys, and then 4-1. Be humble.
So yeah, it's been a really good show. Thank you guys. Hopefully we can get a win. Hopefully by the time we have another show, we might know some more. I don't know what's happening with the show on Monday because I'm actually in Italy. So for the Juventus game. So we'll keep you posted with that. Mel may have to host without me. I haven't told her that until just now. So
No pressure.
yeah.
It's just dropped there, like.
Well, you can have. Yeah, I think Jonas's PA's back, isn't he, Andrew?
Oh yeah, he can lead the line.
Yeah, he should be on the bench for that. Anyway, but yeah, just want to say thank you to my guests. Bez, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. It's just short notice. I'd love to come back at some point when I get free time and my own days off, I guess.
Yeah, no problem. Always welcome. Yaz, thank you for coming on as well. It's great to have
And
you.
Enzo, man. And Enzo, come on.
Yeah, I was
Thank you for
getting
having
to
us.
Enzo.
I'm gonna say bye, Enz.
Bye, man.
Well,
I love dogs anyway. Bye, Enzo.
What game are you and Enzo at next?
It'll be the next Meadow Park because that's the
Okay.
only place we're really allowed to go.
Yeah,
I can
well,
bring
buy
him
me
to
a
the Emirates, but I have to sit on my own, and I'm not sitting on my own.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off again, but what you guys should do is just take Enzo, just say, look, this is my snood. You know, guys like Sammy Nasri, it's my snood. Don't worry, it's my snood.
I
Hey,
could,
you
Water bottle.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a dog. He's a guy
Yeah.
dog. Yeah.
I'll try it one day.
I'll take Enzo in. They can't refuse a blind guy, can they? Like, no.
That is very true.
George, I don't want to say that now. I don't want to say that. I'll feel offended if I say
Yeah.
that now. But hey.
So yeah. So we'll probably see you against Bayern Munich at Meadow Park then.
Yes, definitely.
Paul, thank you for coming on as always. Brilliant.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And just remember to everyone watching, if they can now like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, just search for the Arsenal Women Chat Show. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I would have forgot that, so thank you. So yeah, I'll see you soon. I won't see you tomorrow because I'm not at the game. But are you at Tottenham? Is it Tottenham the next league? Yeah, it's Tottenham. So I'm at
16th, isn't it?
Yeah, next weekend. So I'll be there. Emma, thank you for coming on, and I'll see you soon.
That's all right. It's a pleasure as always. I will see you at the Tottenham game.
Yeah, I'll be there.
As soon as you're not coming tomorrow.
Yeah, I am not missing that Tottenham game. Not for
Yeah.
nothing.
What row are you in?
I don't know. I just know I'm in the ground somewhere.
George
so-
is the ref.
Yeah, I'm the steward. That's basically.
Just make sure you attend the emergency that happens quite fast. And the last time they attended an emergency at that ground.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Don't remind me, please. It's been a year.
Yeah, I've only just calmed down from that. So
Yeah.
Laura, thank you. You're brilliant as always. Better than James. Don't tell him I said that.
He could hear you, so he
Yeah,
just stuck
that's what I
a middle
said.
finger up at you and says basically "F you." So he did. Oh, but thank you very much for having us on. It's always a pleasure.
No problem.
I
Just
always
text
like
that.
to come on and rant the way I rant, so I do. So
Just text that in the group, James, because then I can understand it better what you said. And then Mel, like I always say, thank you. Shows wouldn't be possible without you, so thank you.
Thank you for having me again.
No worries. I'll see you
At some point. Who even knows?
next year.
Probably. I think I've got in my little notes app of games that I can do. I think Palace at home is probably my next game. It fully depends on my club's cup runs.
What, the Carabao Cup? Sorry.
Not that one. Annoyingly, I could have came down next week because my game next Sunday's now just been postponed to December. So I've honestly no idea. But yeah, it fully depends on how annoyingly well my own club do in Scottish Cup and League Cup before I can get down again.
Cool.
on the Elgin.
Yeah, we'll get you down. So yeah, once again, thank you to everyone who's been watching. Please hit that like button and please subscribe. It really helps. Where we've only just started up with the new channel. One thing I'm going to end this on. Just remember before you go on Twitter, just do something. It's really simple. Think before you post a tweet. Be kind. Keep smiling. Life's too short, and just be happy. Good night, everyone.